right, so I'm actually recording now. We're on our way to Erie, Pennsylvania. It's JC with Wax Poetic Pro Wrestling. I did promise you guys we're gonna do a vlog for the AEW Erie, Pennsylvania show. Saturday, December the 2nd. We are officially on our way to the show. We're just talking about wrestling in general. Should be a good show tonight. Good variety of matches. They haven't really announced much else yet other than the matches themselves, so I guess it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. We might get a few updates here in the next couple hours on what they're going to do on the show otherwise. But yeah, we're excited. We're on our way. We got John over here, Mr. Stoic John driving. It's Rigo in the back. Fuzzy motherfucker Rigo over here.
Look at the shade.
No, I'm just saying. I was saying fuzzy in like a very, complimentary way. Yeah. So, but
Fuzzy wasn't there.
Yes, exactly. I saw that the other day on Dynamite. There was or last night on Rampage. They had somebody had a sign in the crowd that it was like Calvin and Hobbes,
Yeah.
And it was Callous and Powerhouse Hobbs. And you know how he has the new shirts that say Big Blacked and Jacked?
Yeah.
It's got the t-shirt that says Fuzzy, Wuzzy, and something like Snuggly or something instead of Big Black and Jacked. Powerhouse Hobbs actually looked in the crowd and looked at that sign. He had a little smirk on his face. He was like,
nice.
he was trying not to break character. I think when he saw the shirt.
It's like when you see signs like that, though, man. It's like you gotta appreciate the fans, and like show them that you saw it.
Well,
so
he drew it. It was all artwork and everything. I was like,
some amazing artwork.
I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. But yeah, we're just talking about wrestling. Figured we would actually talk about it so you can actually hear what we're talking about. But we're talking about the balance in AEW of trying to balance out storylines and matches, match quality, and also giving good storylines to the fans. We're also just commenting that wrestling is always better when there's emotion involved in the storylines. If you see old school wrestling, there's always emotion involved in the storylines and in the classic matches from the past. Of course, it was a lot easier then because the fans actually believed a little bit more.
Yeah.
Then, so it's a lot harder now to get people invested like that. I think. Wouldn't you say that's like a harder thing to do, John?
Nowadays, yeah, where they're trying to cram so many moves in such a in a 12-minute match or something.
Get their shit in.
Yeah, it's
pretty much.
It's where I've heard it's like less is more, and it should go backwards to that. It's just do less moves and make them more standing out.
Or maybe take more time even between the moves. I mean, it's not all the way there, but I mean, it's kind of a thing. It's almost like you can't let. It's like once we get to a certain point, you almost can't not do the things you've been doing, but maybe you got to do them, space them out a little better, let the crowd feel that a little bit.
So almost like doing just harder hitting moves that'll stagger the wrestler more and give that appearance of like John said, more is less. No, I'm sorry, less is more. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about now is, especially with an AEW product, is they're so close to a New Japan product where, a lot of it's strong style. So the amount of times you can get hit is part of the whole thing about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, they're trading 20 forearms to the face. And I guess the thing with like UFC kind of informed wrestling to a certain extent, going, okay, well, in real life, this is what would knock somebody out.
Yeah.
This is how many times you could get hit in the face, per se. So you almost have to throw that in there a little bit, I guess, in a way,
realism.
The realism based off of what we know about mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Which I've actually been talking about this for years, how wrestling is, as far as the in-ring quality, has gotten better because I think that we've been informed by what real fights look like now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So wrestling looks a little more realistic now because they kind of throw a little bit of that UFC shit in there as far as the realism goes.
Right, and you also have the wrestlers that have actually tried MMA like
Exactly.
Brock Lesnar, your CM Punks. I don't know who else has really dabbled in
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey, yeah. Well, she did the transfer from MMA to professional wrestling.
Yep, Jake Hager.
Yep, Jake Hager. Yep.
Bobby
Which
Lashley.
Hager hasn't really wrestled much.
No.
He had, 10 matches throughout his whole time there so far?
He's living large, man. He's making buku bucks and he barely ever has to work.
Of course. He
just goes around with a friggin' purple hat on, like, living the dream.
Of course. He's getting paid.
He's kissing freaking Jericho's ass. That's all he's doing.
Continue straight.
Well, he's like Jericho's boy. That's why, main reason why he's getting, the job.
The one thing they do need. You know what? I'm gonna go on a little side note here, guys, but they do need to develop Jake Hager's character a little bit better because he is impressive looking. You gotta give me. He's got the stature, he's got the build,
but he can't talk.
Well, that can be worked on. I mean, come on, the guy literally is taking punches to the face and the head, so of course he's not gonna be able to talk, right?
Well, there's not to bring this up because this is really kind of insensitive to say this, but he does have a lisp.
But
it does kind of affect a little bit to the promos. But here's the thing, I was going to compare. He has a lisp, and so does Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes is very good on the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not really that, but I feel like Cody overcomes that, where Jake Hager, it's like he doesn't talk good to begin with as far as the promo. So they kind of makes it look worse.
Yeah, you also remember though the pedigree that Cody Rhodes got,
Oh yeah, well Dusty had a little bit of a lisp too. But I think the other with Jake Hager is just like, I don't know, he's a guy who's kind of had his time in WWE, and I just don't know what else you do with the guy. You can't really push him over the guys that they have at the top of the card now.
Right.
Like who are you supposed to put him? Who are you supposed to put him over? He actually beat Wardlow in a match.
Yeah.
And they had a series of matches.
Yeah, they're slobber knockers, man.
Yeah, they traded victories or whatever.
Yeah.
So he does get his due here and there. He does get a big match once in a while.
Yeah, but it's just like they gotta utilize him more because like I said, he's an impressive looking athlete. He's got the look.
Well, that's the other thing too, as we were talking about earlier, is that they have so many guys on the roster, AEW, that somebody's gonna be mad at all times. Yeah. At all times on that roster. Just because somebody's not getting the time. Yeah. This week Britt Baker came out, and I don't know if it was a work or not, but she came out and said, oh, well, MJF gets 7 minutes promo time, Christian gets 10 minutes, and I haven't seen one promo all year. Which actually isn't true. She's actually had promos backstage,
right,
but maybe not in the ring. But it's like, you only have so much TV time.
Right, that's true. Does she still have the what you call the Heart Foundation? Are they still doing that? The Heart Foundation tournament?
Every year, yeah, but it's like in May or June or July.
Gotcha.
It's like later on.
So does she still have that?
She won it the first year. She didn't win it last year.
Okay, see, that's my problem. Sometimes I do fall behind on my wrestling. Sometimes.
Yes, we know, Rigo. So just you don't have to input too much. It's fine. Me and John will talk.
I'll throw in my 2 cents where it's needed. Don't get me wrong.
You're throwing your color commentary.
Always.
Yeah. But anyways, no. I feel like they just have so much talent that they can't focus on everybody.
Yeah, they can't make everybody happy.
And like I was telling you guys earlier, I do believe that in a couple years this roster is going to be a lot smaller, because I think they recognize we have way too many guys. So
it's going to be split. It's going to take AEW, and then they're going to take ROH and put some on that show.
Well, they're already trying to do that. But the problem with ROH is they don't have they don't have a show for them. They're on streaming. So It's like they actually offered ROH to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers, they were like, nah, we're good. Like, and Tony was kind of like, okay, like, so it's like they but here's the thing, Tony wouldn't go and sell the show to somebody else, even though that Warner Brothers didn't want it.
Right.
Which is like, I hate to say it, but like, I don't know, man. I understand your loyalty to Warner Brothers, but dude, like, come on.
Sometimes you just gotta bite that bullet.
Because you're right, they should be doing it as a second brand or at least a developmental brand. Which
that's what I was about to say.
Which is what they're doing right now. But the problem is nobody's watching it. That's the problem. It might be great, I'm sure it is. I mean, Ronda Rousey was there a couple weeks ago. I'm sure they got some good stuff there, but they got Athena there, Billy Starch, I mean, but I don't know, they're just not going. I mean, it's getting so bad now that in this Continental Classic, they're taking the Ring of Honor title and combining it with 2 other titles to make a Triple Crown. That's what they're doing with this tournament.
Huh.
This tournament, whoever wins the tournament wins the Triple Crown, which is the Ring of Honor World title, the New Japan Strong title, and the Continental Classic winner will be all the new Triple Crown, basically. So that's what's on the line. So Eddie Kingston right now is putting all the belts on the line in this tournament. Damn. So if he doesn't win the tournament, he loses his titles in the Triple Crown.
Well, hey man,
which is crazy.
Yeah. But you gotta gamble,
I mean, but yeah, I really do think this roster is going to look different in a few years,
right?
As far as the size of it. And it might. I hope you're right, John. I really do hope that they somehow figure something out with Ring of Honor and they can maybe get it on TV or something. Because right now it's the only exposure Ring of Honor is getting is the titles on AEW's programming, So the show itself is not really. It's almost like an afterthought at this point. So, but as far as the Continental Classic goes, basically this is an American tournament, the first ever American round robin tournament, or the first one in probably 30, 40 years they've done.
So why are they having a new Japan belt in there if it's an All-American and no one from Japan is coming over to get it?
Well, because Eddie Kingston's the champion, basically. So they're basically kind of solidifying the relationship between AEW, Ring of Honor, and New Japan, I suppose, with this title. Plus, they're also creating a Triple Crown, but they're basically what they're doing, I think, is they're strengthening the Ring of Honor title, saying, okay, we don't just have the Ring of Honor title, now we have these other 2 titles that are also combined with it, so it's even bigger now, and it can be defended outside of Ring of Honor as well, like New Japan or wherever. So I mean, I think they're just trying to maybe solve some problems here by doing this. I don't think that's the primary reason for the tournament. I just think it's something they kind of thought of that made for more stakes, I guess, with the tournament.
I mean, those.
So have you guys seen the brackets though?
No, I haven't.
I did see the text with the card of for the show for the matches. You did send that to me, and it does look amazing.
Well, I think I sent you the list of the participants, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Not tonight, but the overall tournament.
Yeah.
So what they do is on Wednesdays they do the Gold League, which is the 6 wrestlers in the Gold League in round robin action week to week. And then the Blue League is Saturdays on Collision, the other 6 wrestlers. So the Gold League is Moxley, Swerve, Jay White, Jay Lethal, Roosh, and Mark Briscoe.
Ooh.
That's the first bracket. Yeah. Okay. Basically, they're all going to face each other once each.
Yeah.
Once
George
each.
Strickland, man, that's a name to look out for.
Right now I'm saying I think Swerve's actually going to win the Gold League because they're pushing him hard. Yeah. They're pushing him real hard.
I mean, they tried pushing him with Keith Lee, but that really didn't go any much.
Well, that was really weird because they're supposed to feud and then they never did a blow-off match.
Exactly. So,
and I think, I hate to say it, but I think they didn't want either one of them to lose for some reason, which I kind of understand, but it's well, why do it at all if you're not going to put somebody over?
Yeah, exactly.
It's but
I guarantee you Keith Lee would have loved to fucking put Strickland over because, he's a younger guy, unfortunately, Keith is, getting up there in age.
Well, there's a counterpoint to that. The counterpoint is Keith is getting up there in age, so you better pull the trigger on him now. As far as his what he's worth, as far as what he can bring to the table. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I think now if you did the match, you'd have to put Swerve over.
Yep.
Now, but a year ago,
yeah,
I probably would have said Keith Lee because Swerve was a heel, and he did all this heinous shit to Keith Lee.
Right.
And it's well, if you're not going to give Keith Lee the win, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they didn't do that, and then they just kind of left Keith Lee in limbo, and I think it's one of the big missteps that they've made.
I think Keith got injured. That's why he was out for.
I think so too. And I just think he's like his body's just not like I don't know maybe what it used to be.
I mean, he's our age.
Exactly.
We're not young men.
He's around 40, so so he's on. But that's the thing. He's only got so much time left.
Yep.
But anyways, as far as the 6 names so far, like Swerve has 6 points already. He beat Jay Lethal Wednesday, not Jay Lethal, but Jay White. It was almost a 20-minute draw. The fans were kind of thinking it was going to be a 20-minute draw because you had 2 heels.
Yeah.
So 2 heels are like hot heels.
Yeah.
So maybe you do a draw there, but they actually did a good job and they faked the fans out. They did the match where they're like 16, 17 minutes in, and then Swerve got a quick roll up, a quick little pin roll up, which I think if they were going to put somebody over, they should have put Swerve over.
Yeah.
I mean, you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, he's hotter right now.
And Jay White, granted, he's coming out of Japan into AEW hot, and it's just one of those things where probably not too many people actually watch New Japan, and they know Jay White came from New Japan, never seen any of his matches over there. And
as far as the casuals go, you're saying,
yeah.
right? It's like not us, we know him, but other people don't know him.
Right.
Yeah. And he just had a pay-per-view main event.
Okay.
Just had one against MJF.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and Swerve just beat, Hangman Adam Page, and maybe the best death match of all time. They're calling it right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
You saw it? Did you see it?
No, but
you got to see it.
It's hard to say when people say this is going to be the best. This was the best match in years, and be like,
trust me, it was. Here's the thing. Here's what without seeing it, I'm just going to tell you this. You may see death matches, other death matches on the indies. Maybe AEW's done a few.
Turn left.
You know what I mean? But this one was like they did everything but the kitchen sink, and they also added the psychology and the drama and the storylines into it, which made it kind of like raised it up to the level of being the greatest. Because it was kind of like they did everything with it basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that was the difference. Is I don't think you would maybe get the best death match of all time if it wasn't on AEW. You know what I mean? Whereas maybe you do it on a small indie somewhere, it's like, well, the storyline's really not there. They're just kind of going out there and having a death match. Maybe they had 2 promos on each other like before the match, leading into it. But literally, they did a month's worth of storylines with this one leading up to it. And the stuff that they do in the match is a lot of stuff I've never seen before. And I've seen a lot of wrestling.
Right.
I would say with my highest recommendation, if you're going to combine all the elements that you need to have a great pro wrestling match, it was the greatest death match of all time. I would say 100%, easily.
That's saying a lot.
Where were we? I don't even remember what we were. Okay, so yeah, he went over. First week he went over as well, over Jay Lethal. The only other person in the bracket with 6 points is John Moxley.
Right.
Roosh has 3 points. Jay White has 3 points, and Lethal and Briscoe have 0.
Yeah.
So we're 2 weeks in.
I can't believe Briscoe has 0.
Well, it's easy. That's a tough bracket. I mean, the only guy in that bracket that I would like automatically give him the win over is probably Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
Just because there's just a lot of talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe, sorry. I think Mark Briscoe is gonna surprise somebody somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what match it'll be, but that's the thing with the G1. There's always upsets and these round robin tournaments. And what the G1 always did, New Japan always did, is they made the losses in the round robin bracket or part of the tournament. They make that into future storylines. You know what I mean? So one guy loses to one. Let's say Swerve wins the whole tournament. Whoever he loses to in the bracket would be who he defended against after the tournament. Well, he won the tournament, but he lost to this guy.
Right.
So he should defend that title against that guy. You know what I mean? It's very easy how they... But that's the easy part. The hard part is figuring out week to week which guys go over and how to twist and turn the stories
you get to the end of the climax of it, and that's the beauty of the G1 is that you have to like kind of wind and twist through the story, week to week. Now, I think AEW kind of made a mistake as far as not announcing the matches ahead of time, or week-to-week matches ahead of time, because that's what G1 used to do. They would announce all the matches for the whole tournament all the way up to the last night. So if you looked at all the matches week to week, you could kind of like predict like, oh well, these two might be have the most points here at the end, But they would always throw a curveball in there too,
Right.
So with that all being said, who do you guys see as winning that gold bracket?
I would love to see Moxley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would love to see Moxley, but who do you think's going to win it?
It'd be tough. Probably an upset probably would be Briscoe, but in overall it's going to probably be whoever's the next one with 6 points there. What did you say?
Swerve and Mox have the 6
Probably
points.
be Swerve.
Yeah. Now the way this tournament's done it too, I didn't say this, but the two people with the most points in each bracket, they face off in the semifinals, and then the other bracket has their semifinal, and then each winner goes on to the pay-per-view World's End for the finals.
Oh.
So really, it doesn't. The top two guys will end up facing each other. So I'm gonna say Mox and Swerve is like the semifinals.
Yeah,
That's what I would guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in agreement with you on that one because come on, you got your Moxley. This dude will throw his own mother at someone to win. You know what I mean? But then you got your Swerve Strickland. The man is willing to destroy his body to win. Both of them, they're willing to do whatever it takes in order to get that belt.
I don't think Swerve will actually destroy his own body, but he is a calculated person.
Yeah. Actually, wait till you see that death match. I'm not going to say anything else. I don't want to form your opinion and all, but honestly, once you see the match, you're going to go, okay, I was wrong about that one.
Well,
this dude, I'm not going to say what he did in the match, but because I want it to be a surprise to you when you see it. But there's some shit in there you're like, damn, this motherfucker's tough. I didn't realize how tough this guy was. But yeah, I think I'm in agreement. I think it's going to be Mox and Swerve at the end in the finals. And I think maybe whoever, how they could throw like a monkey wrench into this whole thing is like when they face each other in their match, whoever wins that match should lose in the semis when they face each other for the second time.
Oh, okay.
So Mox would beat Swerve in their first match in the actual round robin portion, but then when they get to the finals, then Swerve wins. So they actually would trade victories there, and this still makes Mox look strong, because he did get a win over Swerve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Or they could do a draw even. They haven't done a draw yet. So anyways, all right, so you are all in agreement on that. Probably Swerve, probably Mox.
Yeah.
Maybe a dark horse, maybe Jay White's figured in there. Or at least he'll have a shot maybe by the end of the last week. Like he'll be like, if he wins this match, but this guy loses, he could be in the finals kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think those are like the three biggest names in that bracket. But anyway, so in the blue bracket, which we are going to see tonight,
Yeah.
we've got,
I'm excited for that.
tonight we have Eddie Kingston, Daniel Bryan. We've got Claudio Castagnoli and Brody King, and Claudio Castagnoli, Brody King, and then our Western New York boy Daniel Garcia
Oh, my man.
versus Andrade El Idolo.
That's going to be a match.
So that's your 6 right there. Now Bryan didn't wrestle last week, so they only had 2 matches in the league last week, and it was Daniel Garcia lost to. Who did you lost to? Lost to somebody. Sorry, it's escaping me right now. So last week it was Claudio, I think. It was Claudio.
Damn.
Lost to Claudio. And
That's
then
understandable.
the other match was Brody and Eddie, and Brody got an upset win.
Really?
Yes, he beat Eddie Kingston. So tonight, those are the matches. Those are the 6 guys. Now, out of those 6 guys, who do you see as being the 2 last guys at the end in the semis of those 6?
Probably Kingston.
Okay.
And probably maybe Brody that might push him.
So do you think they would face each other again?
Yeah.
And then maybe Eddie picks up the win back, maybe?
Yep.
Okay. Rigo?
I'm gonna go with my boy Daniel Garcia, and I think it's gonna be Claudio. And because he's got to get that win back from fucking Claudio.
That's a bold prediction, man.
I'm gonna stick with it too.
I don't know. I hate to say it, guys. I love Daniel Garcia as our boy and shit, but like, I think he's in this tournament just for the fact that he's in the tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the prestige factor. I don't think he's going to win very many matches, but I think the fact that he's in it says a lot at his age. You know, the fact that he's even in it.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like he might get one win on this tournament, but I don't see him like going to the finals. Sorry, Rigo.
That's fine.
But me personally, I'm going to say it's going to be Eddie Kingston versus Brian Danielson in the finals. So whoever wins tonight, I feel like in the finals, maybe that's the other person gets the win back. That's kind of where I'm going with it. So overall, I think it's going to be Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson in the finals. With Swerve winning it because Danielson beat him a couple months ago in a one-on-one match on Dynamite. My dark horse is Eddie Kingston, though.
Yeah.
I feel like Eddie Kingston could very well be in that spot, too, because it's Long Island.
Right.
It's not in Yonkers, but it's in this general area where he's from.
Yeah.
So maybe Eddie Kingston versus Swerve Strickland in the finals, possibly.
Well, the thing is, Eddie's going to be fighting for his belts. No
True.
stands or butts.
100%. I don't see him not being in the finals of the Blue League. Let's put it that way. No matter what, I feel like he's in the finals of the Blue League because they can't just make him drop we can't just know he doesn't have the titles anymore, at least until the semis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can't blow up that until at least until they got down to the last 4. I feel like automatically he's going to be in the semis just because he's the champion or the incumbent in the tournament. So who do you see as winning the actual tournament?
The whole thing?
Yes. So you predicted your guys from each side, or should I say, who do you predict to go on to the finals and win the actual Triple Crown?
The actual Triple Crown, being realistic, I would love to see Claudio win that.
Interesting.
Push the Ring of Honor. You know what I mean?
Well, he's never, he's always been very underrated.
Yeah.
I would say that.
I find him to be a really good wrestler.
So you're saying you say Claudio and who in the finals?
Claudio and Swerve.
Okay. You think Claudio's going to beat Swerve?
Oh yeah.
Okay. John, what do you think?
It's going to be Swerve and Eddie.
I love that, actually. I would.
And Eddie's going to be somehow some major upset or some kind of cheat factor that's going to out-cheat Swerve in his calculated plan of trying to cheat Eddie for the belts.
But not outside interference. Remember this, because outside interference is banned in a tournament.
Right.
Nobody else can be involved.
I mean,
So you think it'll be some type of
unless they're
try to double cross each other, hit each other in the balls, maybe. Ref gets knocked out, maybe.
it's going to be someone's going to be distracting the ref, brass knuckles, something, ring. I don't know
Turn
what.
right.
It's going to come down to a factor where someone's going to help out Eddie.
Interesting. Or the ref, like I said, the ref could get knocked out too. That's the only way you could have outside interference, really, is if the ref gets knocked out in that match. But that's one of the things about this tournament is they cut out the outside interference because they wanted the integrity of the tournament to be upheld.
Well, are there going to be judges watching, or is it just by strict up honor, you know.
Yeah, I guess at this point it's honor. I don't know how they would deal with it if the ref gets knocked out and somebody interferes. Does it still count as interference because the ref didn't see it? Because sometimes they change it based on their needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll see it one way, or they do it one way, but then another time they'll do it another way, and that's just pro wrestling. They just figure out a way to do it to make it work. I mean, let's all be honest. That's pretty much what you do, right? I mean, we got to figure out a way to get to the final destination, but without looking stupid or kind of making the fans scratch their heads, which isn't the easiest thing to do, obviously.
Right.
But anyways, wow, that's interesting because we all had differing opinions.
Mm-hmm.
We all had different finals.
Yep.
We all had a different winner, so that should be interesting.
Yeah.
I can see your point about Dan. You know, I wasn't gonna say Daniel Garcia, but we all know. I mean, he's still a relatively young wrestler.
Rigo's walking it back. He's like, "All right, I'm not gonna sound like an idiot here."
Well, I'm not an idiot, but it's just like I'm being realistic.
Thank you. It's true though. I mean,
I want to at least see Danny in the fucking finals.
The fact, like I said, to me, the fact that he's in there says a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that they're even putting him in there says that they believe in him a lot.
Yeah.
He's very young still, so he's got a big future ahead of him, obviously. And I think he is going to pull an upset somewhere in the tournament.
Right.
I don't know where it'll be, but he's gonna ruin somebody's tournament with like a victory.
Yeah.
Somewhere, it's gonna happen.
Probably tonight against Andrade, because Andrade is, I think his career in AEW is on its way out. Especially now that he's not going to be marrying Charlotte Flair.
I don't know about that. I saw something on Instagram the other day, and he had his hand on her ass in an Instagram post. So
they're back together.
Yeah, well, they seem kind of toxic, so like
Okay.
that kind of makes sense that's kind of like on brand for them, you know. They probably fight like cats and dogs, you know, and then probably fuck like cats and dogs afterwards. You know, that just seems like they're those kinds of people. You know. No offense, Andrade or Charlotte, if you see this, you know, but, you know.
This is an outsider's perspective.
From an outsider's perspective, y'all fucking batshit, okay? So, but anyways, I'm going to end this video right now. I've already been talking for 30 minutes. It's getting dark here, so, probably not going to see a lot of this last bit of this because it's so fucking dark. But anyways, I will do another vlog here soon when we get closer to the venue, or we're at the venue or at the restaurant or something. But, all right. Later.